I secretly went to my wife's office to surprise her on our 10-year anniversary, only to greeted by this. Unthinkable. With the rain we have had, we have crazy hours trying to make up time that we missed. So I work 12 hours on the days it's nice, sometimes a little longer. If it's raining when I get up, I don't go in. Some days we get sent home when it starts, too dangerous. I usually hit the gym for an hour or two. Thursday we start at 6 a.m. Mid-morning starts to rain hard. We go home. I go to the gym as usual. I cut the workout short and head downtown to see my wife Megan to give her flowers and make plans for dinner that night if possible. We really haven't seen much of each other this week. I went to bed around 9 p.m. She wasn't home. Called me earlier. She's working late. Not unusual for the past month. I stopped and got some flowers and went into her building about 12:30. Nicole was at the receptionist desk. I told her I got here later than I wanted and asked if she could put the flowers on Megan's desk. She said, "I don't think they went to lunch yet. Why not drop them off yourself?" She buzzed the door to get back to the offices. The place was deserted. I went to her office. The door was closed. I always walk in unless the receptionist tells me she's in a meeting. I walk in and some guy is standing behind her, nuzzling her neck. She's reaching back over his head. She's giggling only as she can, saying, "We gotta get this done."
I am gut punched.
I slammed the flowers down and said, "Happy anniversary," and walked out. I didn't hear what she said. Nicole said goodbye and left. Made it to the elevators and out the building. Then my phone started ringing. I boiled my eyes out all the way home. Went into the garage, pulled my camping gear out of the rafters, and took off. I drove about 2 hours to a state park. I had no idea what to do. I just had to run. I hiked a trail we've been on in the past, about a 3-hour hike. I don't drink much, so I had no booze. I just sat there thinking. Looking back, I am glad I was in a rush.
Normali, I bringa 45 cal.
With me camping, we have black bears, which generally scare off, but get aggressive if hungry or cubs are around. The way I was feeling, I might have eaten the barrel that night. My phone was blowing up for Megan, so I had turned it off. I left the park to get reception and turned it on to see my good friend called. I called him back. He said Megan called him to check on me, make sure I didn't do anything stupid. We talked a bit, told him I got to thinking this through, and would catch up on Friday. So while I am thinking about this, I go over our marriage from the beginning to see what I missed. We come from completely opposite backgrounds. My grandfather raised me with my mom. He taught me about life. He had a little saying about everything. He told me marriage would be the hardest job I ever had. He had to work on it every day. God, I miss him. We did not have much. Heard Mom and Grandpa having many discussions about bills. They worked hard, and my brother and I did not miss out on anything we knew of. Megan was born into money. Not overly rich, but very comfortable. Went to a great college, always had great clothes, a new car, etc., and she is beautiful. 11 out of 10 beautiful. I would joke with her if she coughed about the silver spoon getting stuck in her throat. We met and started dating. I was dumbfounded how such a woman would ever be with me. We dated quite a while before she told me about her parents and lifestyle. Our friends called us the model couple because they thought we were so good looking we had to be models. Families were not as kind. Afraid of the differences economically would come into play. Her dad and I started to get along, but her and my mom took some convincing. We graduate and get her first job. We plan on getting married. We work out between us that we would expose each other to our lives that we live. I took her white water rafting. She took me to the symphony. We went ziplining. We went to an art opening, etc. We agreed that we had to experience the other's interests. She was really enthused about the more physical things we did. I kind of like this symphony and such. I own 2 tuxedos now. I look back and do not see any red flags. Her first 2 jobs she quit because the men all tried to get in her pants. She was paraded out in front for photo ops. Invited a conference as when other newbies were not. At dinner at a conference, a partner tried to get her drunk, then tried to force himself into her room that night. She quit. The next job, the same thing. Quit again. This 3rd job has women as some of the partners, and none of that BS is in her workplace. She seems very happy. We seem very happy. So now, Friday, I am home. I called her. Asked where she was. Back at work. I, being in a smart-ass mood, said that the marriage is taking second place for her job. She responded since I would not talk about what she was doing. Fair enough. She will be home in an hour. So I wait. I want to save our marriage. If I am lacking in providing, then I want to fix it. I want to ask why, of course, but I cannot accept an I don't know answer. Here's the update. Wife and I had a marathon talking session on Friday late night. I started by asking that she be honest in all answers and be complete. Do not tell me half-truths that have to be asked several different ways to get a complete answer. She agreed. I started with why. Answer. I don't know. Kind of what it was expected. We went around and around on this. Finally, I said, how many times did you have sex? Started to dodge, but when I let out a sigh and shook my head, she said 6 or 7 times. That started things rolling. I kept my cool. How long? Last 3 weeks. Back to why. Could not give an answer. You still love me? Yes. Saying it because we are done trying to save the marriage? No, with some conviction. Do you find me attractive? Yes. Why? Still can't answer. Am I not giving you something you are looking for? Here she hesitated, but quickly recovered. I knew I was onto something. Could not crack the nut, though. Finally, about midnight, I was tired. I said, Megan, you are an intelligent woman. I cannot believe you cannot articulate the why I am asking about. She started crying, saying she is trying to answer my questions. I said, okay, enough for tonight. Time for bed. She started to walk toward the door. I asked where she was going. To my parents' house. I told her that this is our house. I'm not asking you to leave. She's up crying at that point. I said, we are not divorced or separated. That may come, but for now we need to be together until we sort this out. We actually slept in the same bed. Not sex, in case you were going to ask. I am up almost most of the night. I am reading some of the comments in DM. Had some great comments and back and forth with a few people. One told me that women generally marry up in social status. We were unusual, maybe second thoughts. One suggested that maybe I was right and that I was not fulfilling something for her. But one told me that there was a post a few days ago describing this scenario, but from the women's view, asking what she should do. We could not find it on the subs you looked at. r/surviving infidelity r/infidelity. So I pulled up Reddit and put in Megan's account and looked at her history. Bingo. She was the one who posted. So this morning, bright and early, we start again. I start out, why? Same answer. We go around getting annoyed. Then I say, did this guy challenge you intellectually? The look on her face was priceless. He read my post. For the masses, she described how she caught the feeling when they first kissed in a make-out session in a hotel. She left. Next morning, after I left for work, she hightailed it over to a hotel to put an end to it. Then had sex. It continued at least up to her posting. I am sure a couple of days later, I discovered them. She also was weighing whether to leave. Then says this is moving way too fast. She needs to separate from the guy. So I present this to her that she thinks I'm a dumb hick.
No.
She was attracted to him because this project they are on is his idea. She feels she is getting passed by and needs to up her game. The stimulation from this led to the attraction and the rest. Now, I don't know. I know she was sincere. Now the floodgates open. We have a great dialogue through the issue. Mid-afternoon, she wants a break. She leaves for her parents. So I'm writing this update and knock on the door. Okay, gotta say I'm really tired now. There stands Megan's mom. I tell her Megan is on the way to their house. She knows she wants to talk to me. She has never been to our house by herself. She has never that I remember talked to me privately. She says she is not here to sway me in any way. She would accept any decision I make. But she wants to tell me her story. She was married once before Megan's dad. I knew that. The man she married was the love of her life. Didn't have much. She met her husband, and they caught some feelings. Before they cheated, she told the first husband they were done. Divorced. When she married a new guy, he had some money but was an up-and-coming executive. Couple years go by. Not happy. Made a mistake. All husband moved on and is married. She gets pregnant. As Megan goes into depression, was actually institutionalized. 2 years later, pregnant with brother. Repeat cycle. Couple years later, sister is born. Repeat. No more kids. She's fixed. Everyone thought it was postpartum depression. I guess it was, but it mirrored her ex also expanding his family. To this day, she knows where he lives, his kids' names, etc. She has never gotten over leaving a love of her life. She sees how I am with Megan. She sees she is my love. She saw it when she quit her first job, how I took care of her. She got up and left, saying nothing else. All right, next cheating story. My wife has been cheating since our first-year anniversary. Spoil alert. Me and my wife were married in August of 2019. Things weren't easy. We fought a decent amount, but never to the point where I thought we were in danger of losing each other. We both had our struggles along the way. I have been in active recovery for a porn addiction for over 6 years, while she was starting her therapy journey to address childhood incestuous abuse. I thought we were on the right track. When August 2020 came along, our relationship still had its rough spots, but it was the first year of marriage. It was supposed to be this hard, right? I believe that even though we weren't where we were at least in a better spot than where we started. A couple of weeks into August, my wife became more and more distant. She spent more and more time with her male friends from work. I began to have concerns, but every time I broached them with her, she would lay my fears to rest. You are the one who struggles with lust, not me. I am never one-on-one. I just make better friends with guys, etc. Despite my misgivings, I figured she was right. After all, I was the one who struggled with porn. I needed more boundaries than she did, right? We had had the talk early on in our marriage that we wanted to set the boundary of never being in a one-on-one setting with someone of the opposite sex. We wanted to be above reproach. While she did acknowledge this conversation, she didn't think it was necessary for her. That her struggles weren't with sex, and I should be okay with her hanging out with male co-workers. They are all Christian guys working at a Christian restaurant. What could happen? In mid-August, we celebrate our anniversary. During this time, we decided to go on a large group trip where we would rent an Airbnb in the Northern Peninsula. During this trip, a lot of our closest friends came with, including the guy I would come to learn she was having an affair with. During the trip was when my suspicions really ramped up. She was very distant from me and spent more and more one-on-one time with this guy despite my misgivings. Things really came to a head when I came back one night and realized they were out alone in the lake swimming together. It had gotten to the point where even some of her other friends called her out on her behavior. Fast forward on August 30th, D-Day happened. I had been very suspicious by now, and every night when she came home the questions of whatever you've been, who have you been with, what in the suit? I didn't think she was having an affair, but I told her that I believed she was at risk for having an affair. But no one could spend this much one-on-one time in intimate settings with someone else and not develop feelings. Anyway, on the 30th, we were leaving church, and she was again acting very distant. I decided to ask her straight up, "Are you invested in this marriage?" That's when she replied, "We need to talk." She took me to a park and told me what has been happening. She told me it has been going on since the anniversary. She said she loves this guy and does not plan to stop seeing him. That was just about a month ago. In our few interactions since then, she has made it very clear she does not want back in the marriage, even if this guy wasn't in the picture. She told me that if our marriage wasn't already crumbling, that she wouldn't have gone looking. My brain knows that is bogus, but my heart still thinks it is my fault. In the meantime, she has continued to see this guy, post on Instagram about how much she loves him, and tell her friends about how I should have fought for her more. Something worth noting is that she is a manager at this Christian restaurant, and the guy is a new hire. Apparently, her boss is aware and is chosen to forgive her, aka covered up and go against all their values. I never thought I would get a divorce, but the choice is being made for me. Even if she did want to work on things, I'm not sure I could. I'm living with my parents right now, and this is all just too much sometimes. I still wear the ring, not ready to take it off. I know she doesn't, but still. There are times when I feel excited for the future, but other times when just doing basic tasks is too hard. I can't sleep, too many graphic dreams, and I'm just trying to get by. I do have things to keep me busy, and I do have a new job starting in October, which will be helpful, but that is where I'm at. I've found it difficult to find people who can relate. I am thankful for this community. And here's our first update. Going to see a lawyer on Tuesday says it should be a simple process from a logistical standpoint at least. I've gone back to seeing my therapist once a week. She is a counselor who is Christian, but not a Christian counselor, aka doesn't answer everything with just pray about it, or God works in mysterious ways, or any of that BS. We'll bring that stuff into the session if I ask him to, but not uninvited. The restaurant she works at is Chick-fil-A. She always talked about how their Christian values set them apart from other places. And here's the next update. I don't know what the proper format is for posting updates, so someone feel free to correct me if I'm doing it wrong. I found out that she has been telling people that the reason we are separated is because I was abusive. I talked with my lawyer, and he said the only way that would hurt is if she filed for a PPO. And the only way she could do that is if she had concrete evidence. That means no going to her work, contacting her, etc. Yesterday, I got the ring back, which was really difficult. My lawyer will send her documents to sign, and if she doesn't contest anything, we can move forward with scheduling a hearing, which is about a 2-month waiting period. And another update. 30 days till court hearing. A little bit of context. She had locked herself out of the apartment. We are separated living in different places, but she texted asking for my key to get in. She said she was using the landlord's copy, needed mine. I haven't given it back. One last little foo, I suppose. Or maybe that is the last thing I'm holding on to. Like if I'm surrendering that, I'm surrendering the relationship. She's paranoid by her own admission, terrified I'll break into the house. She told me she was buying a gun. I've never been violent with her, never laid a hand on her, and I've assured her numerous times that I wouldn't resort to violence. That being said, the idea of her being afraid, albeit misplaced fear, feels good. Knowing that she knows I have access to her house if I really wanted to, that I still have a way in. I'm choosing to hold on to that, to nurse that. Maybe I just don't want to let her go all the way. Maybe I still love her. I know that's wrong, but I felt so powerless the entire relationship. So yeah, that's where I'm at. The more I think about it, look into it, the more effed up I realize it is. Today's journal was longer than normal. With the hearing coming up, even though I know she is a narcissist and this is the best move, it's still hard and hitting me. Here we are, friends. Didn't edit it or try to organize my thoughts, but this is where I am at today. 11/17/2020. These are the days when it is the worst. When I'm at work and there is literally nothing to do but research and file. The time I have to think. These are the times when I would normally text my wife. Text her telling her how bored I was. Casual crap. What's up to? How's work? Anything new? Blah blah blah. I miss that. The regular stuff. The day-to-day stuff. I forgot how lonely it is to be single. There, I said it. I'm single. 31 days until the court date, and I'm scared. I am really freaking scared. Talk to Scott about the key. Explain that all behavior has a function. This is the only thing I have control over. It makes sense. I never had control during the marriage. I don't have control during the divorce. Handing over the key is giving it up. 100% giving up. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go to work.
I'm struggling.
Really struggling. Having trouble finding something to look forward to. I don't know if I'll come back from this. Scott told me to reclaim my past. Reclaim my reality. Not wait for someone else to validate my experience. That's really the reason I'm writing the letter. To get acknowledgement from her. For her to give me permission to have my reality. I don't let myself have it if it can't be justified or validated by someone else. I'm on a roller coaster. I'm in a glass box of emotion.
I'm insane.
The silence, as long as something is going on at every moment of the day, then the pain is manageable. I'm not busy. I'm with my thoughts. With my brain. I hate my brain. I feel between a rock and a hard place. I've begun to really dig into the research. Right now, I have over 26 peer-reviewed articles related to narcissism, childhood sexual abuse, and its relation to infidelity. Attachment styles and infidelity, infidelity in the first year of marriage, sexual abuse leading to narcissism, narcissism and infidelity, long-term impact of betrayal trauma, characteristics of cheaters, archetype hypocrites, characteristics of people most likely to be cheated on, etc. Maybe one day I'll make sense of this. Maybe this will be the biggest freaking research paper I've ever done. Maybe I will be able to conclusively come away from this experience and say, this is why it happened. I'm going to try and perform an autopsy on the corpse that is our marriage. I won't lie, My intention is to definitely point out her fault, to unequivocally convince the jury of my innocence and her role in disintegrating our marriage.
I'm heated.
As I cool down, the hope is that I will be able to better look at my stuff, too, because it's there. As much as I hate to admit it, it is. I think the main reason I feel a need to prove the pain is because she has yet to truly validate it. I have not had a single conversation with her where she did not attempt to explain away, gaslight, justify, twist the truth, displace, or rewrite the narrative. I've been on lawyer mode, on a witness stand. I spent all of last year being cross-examined, and even though we have cut off contact, she is still a leech in my mind. I find myself doubting the institution of marriage, doubting values that I've held just as fundamental truth for so long. I don't see the point in waiting until marriage. I don't see the point in taking the step. I don't see the point in taking the risk. Maybe I do, but the risk and potential for failure is too great. I was certain, freaking certain she was the one. I thought I had dodged a bullet with my last fiancé. Maybe I just traded her on in for a rat poison. One is gross, the other one kills you. Who knows? The one could have been worse, probably would have been, but the point is my judgment is screwed. How can I be certain of anything when the thing I was 1000% sure about is a lie? My mom asked me if I ever saw myself getting married again, moving on. Right after she asked, she realized it was too soon for the question. Don't get me wrong, it definitely was. I'm not ready to remotely consider moving on, but if I had to answer now, I would say no, 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 I am not getting married again. What am I going to tell everyone? Hey guys, welcome back. This has been hell. This has been the worst. Being in a situation where there is even a risk of this happening again seems unfathomable. It's like having an explosion strapped to my chest. Even if there was only a 10% chance of it going off, there's still a chance. I wasted a freaking ball or wedding on her. It's supposed to be a one-and-done thing.
No.
Right now, I don't think I'm meant for marriage. I was certain. My certainty is shaky. My certainty is unreliable. My certainty is nothing more than I guess. I'm certain of nothing. I'll never be certain of another woman. Marriage doesn't require certainty. It requires faith and trust. Yeah, I freaking know. But I believed in us and trusted her so much that it surmounted to something equivalent of certainty in my mind. I trust too much.